Back to another live drawing tutorial with Firdous. My name is Firdous and I draw in the digital medium using tablets or phones, mainly phones, the phone that I have here, and I make drawings on the phone, and I go beyond the digital tools which most people are accustomed to, and this is because I am familiar with our techniques, which majority of you are not. And what does that mean? That means techniques that are invisible to you and not obvious in the first place, but techniques that are inherent to people who are skillful. This thinking goes to all kinds of skilled people. For example, a footballer, he has the same football like you and I are, but this very skillful footballer will be able to turn, spin the ball, rotate it, hit it in a different direction, be accurate in its target, and that separates them. You know, we're talking about great players like Messi, Ronaldo. You know, they can do those kind of things, and even some of the emerging players of today, right? And that's because they're marvelously skillful with the tool that they have, the ball, you know. So it's the same thing with any skill. A carpenter who is so skillful with the ball, and sorry, not with the ball, but with his tools, and he's able to develop something unique and always craft unique products that people appreciate and like. Same with digital art or traditional art. Take for example traditional art. You've seen a lot of YouTubers. You probably like art, the creation of art, and hence the reason you're here, right? Digital art. And if you're looking tools to show you the way, you need to remove that right out of your head. Because if you are, you're limited in your thinking. If you think tools are going to take you there, you are at the first base of most majority of people who will never get to the next step in their artistic journey. They will remain there, and they will not know what it takes to go beyond that. Because I've tested that. I've been drawing for over 10 years, traditional for a majority of these years, and acrylics, watercolors, pastels, oils, you name it, graphite, and oiled pastels even. And I can tell you that digital people do it far differently. Majority of people like doing it because they can now somehow create a circle, fill it in, or if they come across a drawing, they can use a blending tool, things that were essentially hard for them to do in the traditional sense. And now they've found a way, and they think that is that is the only way, and so they are now more subservient to the digital tools. You can see here in this drawing yesterday that I used only one brush here, the shade brush, and I didn't even touch the opacity here. And then I just created this. See? See, it's all down to techniques. Did I use anything else? Blending or anything? No. This is shade brush doing the nose. I think I did that in about 40 minutes, something. But you can see how pretty good that is, right? You'd agree. And I've followed the methods here, and I understood the shade brush properties, changing the size as I went along, and then just kept drawing, kept at it. And this is how I got to. I could carry on make this closer and closer to the real thing. And I do often do that. Photorealistic drawings, isn't it? So let's have a head back, exit the drawing, and let me show you a few resources. First of all, if you're new to this, I'd quickly go through. First of all, Paintology is available from the Google Play Store. I have this Google Play Store here, and there you can see this is the screenshots you'll see, and this is the app. Free for Android users, and currently not available in Apple, so sorry about that. Let's see what that is. This is the Haywin I did, block coloring. Nice, isn't it? Create all masters painting. So, what's going on? So let's go to another resource. Let's go to Paintology.com. No, I've got Google Classroom here. This is a free classroom. So please, if you are serious about painting, believe it or not, this art class, this particular Google Classroom, if you are an artist and trying to learn online and paying money, this is all free. This is more than what they're going to show you. So at the moment, I'm offering from the goodness of my heart all free. If you're serious about painting, and remember, this is not teaching you how to paint with Paintology, just learning how to use Paintology. That's just a trivial thing. It is teaching you to acquire the fundamental skills of painting and drawing. Okay? It's teaching you these fundamental skills, core art skills like tones and values, shapes, form, textures, drawing, improving all the requirements to make good drawings. And you may have seen some of the good drawings I make, and also you will know that when you look at my artwork, you cannot tell whether it's digital. So therefore, you must understand that I have mastered the art of techniques, and not all the techniques. Techniques are infinite. You cannot reach the limits of techniques. And if you just look at tools, you have not reached the limit of the tools. Keep that in mind. You have reached the limit of your own mindset, right? I'm going to repeat that again. When you go to tools and you can't go beyond, do not blame the tools or anything else like it's an inherent skill born to those people. They were born with a brush and paint in their mouths. That is totally untrue. The limitation is you. You are the limit. So do not blame the tools, because you will continue to use that philosophy in whatever you undertake in the rest of your life. And that is sad for majority of people, because they find it comforting not to be able to do it, isn't it? Because isn't it very comforting to say that the limits of any skill that you had an interest in is due to inherent skills in the other people rather than your limitation in your mindset. So I've written a lot of articles on that, so please do keep that in mind, So if you're young, you probably have these sort of thinking, and unfortunately, because you're not mature enough, or perhaps you haven't talked to the right people, you will have these prejudiced thinking. If you talk about your art interest to a non-artist, they haven't got a clue what you're talking about, because they probably agree with you, because they have never been able to go beyond their own limitation. So you're talking to the wrong person. If you want to talk to me, feel free to comment and tell me I'm talking nonsense or I'm talking about or I'm being serious or something, feel free, don't just like my drawings, feel free to comment, make judgment, make qualification. I can correct you and I can correct myself. I don't claim to be right all the time. Anyway, this is a Google Classroom. So let's have a look at that's the Google Classroom. I encourage you to go there because this is free. This is Google Classroom. It's free. Soon I will make it payable. And of course, I will honor anyone who's signed up to Google Classroom, while it's free. I don't intend to charge them, but it will become monetization because you can't honestly think I'm gonna do all this daily tutorials that I've been doing for October for free. It doesn't put bread and butter. It just usurps all my time, isn't it? Doesn't put bread and butter on my table, does it? Adding all this, but on the on that hand, I'm not doing it purely for the displeasure of not getting any money. I'm doing it because I love art. I love to share the knowledge that I have. I've always been like that, but I've found the world, there are lots of people who like to hold on with their dear life to the knowledge they have. They don't want to share it, they don't want to expand their mindset. It's up to them. If you want to go through life like that, I feel you will have a limited experience in this world and you will continue to keep yourself oppressed. You're not keeping others oppressed, you're keeping yourself oppressed, okay? I mean, I'm a philosopher, I've written poetry, so I may go ranting on a bit. If you want to read my poetry, go to allpoetry.com, the world's largest poetry, and type in Ferdous, my name, Ferdous. You'll see 350 poems I've written. Okay, so let's look at another one. This one, paintology.quora.com. Please do follow me there, and it will be a great help. You can see here. I'm going to refresh it actually because this is the painting that we're going to do today. So always update entries there, and I've written over 1,500 questions related to art in the last 5 years or so, maybe. So you'll find plenty of things. Apart from, of course, I'm going to show you the main website, paintology.com. So this is the painting I do. It particularly appeals to me because it brings. John. This is John Singer Sargent, a very famous American artist who traveled the country and even far as Middle East. And he was his paintings were really appreciated for realism, colors, very colorful, vibrant colors. And look at this, he even took on Monet in his painting of the water lilies there, right? I think it's almost like he's mocking Monet. And at that time, I believe Monet had been around, I'm not sure. But maybe he hadn't. If he was before Monet, you can tell Monet might have picked up that beautiful translucency that Sargent created in this painting of this. I've made this painting before. You can check it on my YouTube video channel. Yeah. So this was the one I did yesterday. Plenty. This is one I liked actually. This one. Can you see it? It was a famous John Baptiste. And you can see his original here. And my drawing there. Can you see how closely resembles without losing the essence. This was done on the phone. So you can see this is a famous self-portrait of Rembrandt, Pissarro. You can see how I obtained the essence of Pissarro. Not quite, but look at his. It's more dotted, isn't it? But I managed to get this far, so not bad for a 2 hour. And then, of course, the famous sunflower. And Picasso. So you can see plenty here. And if you think I'm image manipulating, again, you are one of those who are quick to judge, quick to dismiss, quick to move on to other things, and you haven't got the patience to sit through and then see the real thing, right? So if you're going to tell me it's image manipulation or playing, transferring the actual original, then you should sit down and watch all the way through and then decide, okay? So this was done with that. This one, the Monet, yeah, famous Monet, post-impressionism. This was the original. You can see how I love doing this, and I do it every day with passion, even though I'm pretty good at it. Look, my paintings can never be, you can never tell that this was done digitally, can you? So anyway, I'm speaking to myself because I don't get really any conviction feedback with real conviction on what I'm doing. People come here and simply dislike it and say, no, that's been digitally manipulated, dislike. And some of you will come in and say, wow, I don't know how you got there, but I like it. And then that's it. You will not go anywhere beyond that. But Paintology has been designed for you and I, everyone who has a phone and is able to, has sense, has their mind, brain, eyes, everything working for them to do painting and drawing, just like this, just like the way I'm doing. Okay, so that's the one of the side. The other one I want to show you is, of course, you can't ignore Paintology.com. And then there you'll see a button, daily step by step from the home page. Click on that and you'll come to this page, okay? And you can see here I have a new entry. If you keep this page open, don't forget to refresh it. So because my new entries go in practically every day. And so 3rd December, you see I've got the subject John Singer Sargent morning walk. I click on the reference image, and this is the wonderful image we're going to use as reference for our drawing. I really like this one because he's captured colors, his understanding of contrast, and that's what made him really good. And here you can see I've got a stream part 1 and stream part 2. We're on Paintology stream 8, exactly 8 GMT. We're now 20 minutes in, and then we're going to spend the next half an hour or so doing the first half of the drawing, and then part 2, 9 GMT. We usually have 10 minutes break, 5-10 minutes, right, depending on how things go, and then 9 GMT we start on the next part of the drawing on the 2 channels, Produce and Paintology. By the way, yesterday I reported that Produce channel has reached, we've gone beyond 200,000 subscribers, all thanks to your support and appreciation of what I'm doing. And then Paintology is just one day away from 300,000 subscribers. So if you can do a clap around there, I can't hear it, but I would appreciate any feedback, comment on that, and of course any support, all the support that you can give. So this is a huge list on this page. Look at that. It's going to keep you happy till Christmas, isn't it? Look, you go to complete a drawing, you'll see the drawings I've made. I've improved over time, honestly. This actually was a lake. I turned it into a waterfall. Isn't that interesting? Huh? And then here you see all the completed drawing. This one I particularly like because I didn't zoom in. I just used the whole drawing like a canvas, like any painter would. And I painted that. So many drawings for you to look. This one I particularly like. Look at that one. The waterfalls I created on that. Again, this was done by hand, freehand. It's not, all of it was not done by, it was not done by reference, trace. Half of it was done, most of it was done with looking at the reference image. And because I've learned the skills, the reason I can make impressive drawings is because I've learned the skills. I've learned how to, the very skills, the very techniques, the very things I'm going to show you in, that I've shown you all the way through in these drawing tutorials. Okay. All right. So where are we now? So we've downloaded the image. We'll go head back to our Google, our app. So here's the home page. Once you come to the home page, do not go to draw blank canvas, do your doodling, compare it with all the other popular apps and say, nah, this is not it for me. You are now behaving like exactly like the people who fall off on the first hurdle. They do not know anything. You are not, if you're a beginner and you are not able to paint anywhere close to what I've done here, if you're not able to achieve that in digital, please do not make that mistake. You are not qualified to judge an app based on its tools. It's like saying, you know, carpenter, you want to see who's a good carpenter. Instead of looking at all his displayed products, you go past him to his workshop and say, yeah, he's got the saw, he hasn't got this, he hasn't got that table saw, he hasn't got this band saw, he hasn't got this hammer that I like, he hasn't got that. Therefore, he's a crap carpenter. That's really what you're saying. Can you imagine the foolishness of that? But that's how people actually behave. I'm sad to say, majority of people are like that. I don't know why, but that's what they're like. So, if you come to learn something, be open-minded. Drop all that baggage you're carrying with you. This is a new app. It's been designed from the bottom up. It's been developed by an artist who happens to be a technical, highly technical in his field. Most of my career has gone into developing world-class technology, and that's the reason why how this was born. My love for art, as well as, so go to tutorials and check out all these paint by numbers. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Draw, trace image, and this one. So you can download any image in this trace mode if you really want to learn. So what's the first thing I'm going to do? Look at this wonderful painting, right? If we go all the way to the right, you know this is a trace bar. I call it the trace bar. All the way to the left, this is my drawing canvas, right? So those of you who think I'm going to image manipulate, somehow I'm going to get that image to my drawing canvas magically, right? No, sorry, quite mistaken. I'm going to actually draw it by hand, and this is what I do. So let's change to the line brush here, and then keep it 100%. Watch. This is my painting, look. So how do I actually go about from this all the way to that? That's what I'm going to show you here. Well, we've got the most powerful feature of all, which is this. So I'm going to actually use a brush that I've quite liked, which is Industry. Where is it? Industry. Yeah. I'm going to use this brush for this painting. I don't know why, but I'm going to use it anyway. So look. So if I pick the color picker, remember you have to be just above the midpoint. Pick the color picker, look at the colors I've picked, right? I go here, look at the colors. Because what happened is the color picker has picked up these colors. And then what I can do is I can pick the colors and just continue to So I'm doing, pick these colors and make, look, these exact colors to that. Let's go up here. Let's reduce the size because I can see the shrubbery has a little bit of green. Right? And just go tapping like that. You don't have to do drawing strokes. Tap. And that's all we're going to do. Tap until we fill the whole image. So I'm going to spend the remainder of my time getting these primary colors that is in this painting like this. So color picker, tap. So it's not really drawing, is it? Right? You must, and I'm looking for, see, normally I would do drawing strokes like this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to allow you to just tap and then create the first primary colors. So some of you will probably know, oh my goodness, he's following the traditional way of painting. Yep, you're absolutely right. And that's the reason why people cannot guess that my painting has been done traditionally or not. In fact, they will confuse themselves, confuse my painting with traditional. I didn't know that after a very long time because I'm not using tools. So it took me a while to realize, and then I realized I had something very important to show to the world. Yeah. So what have I got here? I'm using 16%, which seems to be a good size to cover the whole painting, and then 100%. I'm not even touching these. Okay, we'll get there when we get there, but I'm not going to touch that. That's what gives it real power when you come to the photorealistic paintings drawing. In fact, on the line one that I did of John Baptiste, I used the line brush, line density settings quite a bit. As you can see here, just putting these tones down. Look, you can see the blue is very light. Just continue to pick the blue, right, and then just tap. Okay, tap. See how the blue changes. So we're going to do a little bit, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Tap. Nothing, no drawing strokes, just tapping, okay? And then you can see the colors are taking on the areas I'm tapping. Not once I've picked the color picker, remember, it's pick the color of that where you tapped, and then it assumes that color. Don't think for a second that it's also doing this. It's not, because look, I'll show you what I'm saying. Suppose you pick that and you pick that green. Don't assume it's going to be green, somehow blue, or the dress. It's not. It's still that color. Okay, so you have to tap to this color to get that color. See what I'm saying? Look here. See? The green I carried to there because I didn't tap into that. So I'm going to take it back to where I tapped of that dress, and then tap again to get the colors of that dress, and then you can see it's the right color of her dress. See? Do you see what I'm saying? So practice that. It's very easy. If you can't do this, to me it means you can't write even, and I'm sure you can write. Tap, or you can't hold a pencil. Right there, you can see this the green I'm getting here. Let's tap. Just tap. Don't worry about getting accuracy. See, wherever you see the turn. So what's this doing? It's doing something really important. It's telling you to become acute in your knowledge of where the light and dark tones are. This is something which even traditional artists are not able to portray as easily as me in my digital app. And they haven't been able to explain it with too much academia, and they get carried away with too much academia about color theory and all that. And honestly, do you dislike my drawing? And if you see my freehand drawing, you'd think I have good knowledge of color theory. No, I have zero knowledge of color theory, but I'm still able to draw really well and pick out accurate tones. This color theory is not going to allow me to bring out accurate tones, especially in digital. Am I mixing colors? No, I'm letting the infinite color picker here to do all the work. Even in traditional, you ask half the artists, guarantee. You ask 80-90% of the artists, or even more, I would say, do you know anything about color theory? They're going to say, yeah, sort of. I learned that when I was at art school. Do you apply it? No, I use my intuition. That's what they're going to tell you. That's how art works. What's the reason behind the color theory? There is no. Even Bob Ross never once in his life mentioned color theory, and he mixes the paints wonderfully on his palette, right? And we consider him to be one of the greats, isn't it? You don't have to be even guarantee even the grand masters like Monet would have said, yeah, I left that all behind in academia. See that? Let's have a look to see where we are. Isn't it wonderful how we got it's almost like pointillism, isn't it? So we're just going to continue going like that, right? Because I just want to show you that it's very important to understand tones. So we can zoom in and and so you've got details now. You can see that I'm going over the lilies here and this is a big brush when you zoom in. I'm not even doing the lilies. I'll do it afterwards. This is digital. It allows you lots of control. Right there. See? Just picking that tone. And you can see how I'm following the tones because I know that tone is going to change here. It's going to be a bit lighter. And then light here. And then a bit different color here. If you don't believe me, let me stick to the water for a while. Right, let me stick to this water for a while and you'll see how the color palette has picked up these different range of colors, and you'll be shocked at the number of blues are picked up. So how many times have I picked up the color picker on the water? Maybe about 10 times now. So look at these colors. These are the tones you picked up, right? Try and mix that paint in traditional. People would not look at color theory to pick up these tones. It's just pure nonsense. And I can challenge anyone who comes here and throws color theory to my face. Even the other weird that somehow got into academia is the tone, the explanation of the tones when the sun falls on an apple, all that as well. That just totally takes people. It looks so wow. Now I see where you're doing it. It looks so great, doesn't it? When it's put down into words and they think they've explained something phenomenal and opened our eyes. No, it hasn't opened my eyes, thank you. I'll tell you why. Because when I look at, and I'm going to show you with this painting, when I look at a painting, I'm completely aware of what the tones are, and I'm able to, my granularity in deciphering tones is way a lot more better than the majority of people, and that's the reason why I can draw so well. And I'll give an And I'll show you this in a minute. You see, you're probably thinking, oh God, he's breaking down art institution. Not breaking down anything. I'm just being honest with what art is like and how people use it. Ask anyone, I told you, who uses color theory when they mix paints. Eh? There will occasionally, when they're not getting the colors, right, very, very rarely, they're going to say, ooh, how do I get this color? I want to get this color. And then they'll turn to what the paints and how the paints mix. And then they may turn to the color theory. But honestly, when I moved to, when I even when I used to paint traditional paint and I moved to color theory, I had no idea why it was that important. Absolutely no idea. Because it didn't help, because I would still continue to use my intuition to mix the colors. Let's have a look at this, right? So this is how far we go. It almost looks like a Klimt, isn't it? Now let's look at this. Okay. Now, I can see subtle areas where the light is more on the left side as opposed to the right side. This is what makes a very superb artist even superber, if that's a word I could use. And look at the colors here on the hat umbrella. Look at this somber color compared to a light color there. And look at the light shining on her face. You think it's a morning walk. He gave it a good reason why it's a morning walk. The sun is coming from the left, so what? It doesn't tell me anything. It just gives me the whole feeling of somehow this woman is walking, and really nobody says this woman is walking and the sun is beautifully glancing her skin and all that. You could say that. You could say the light is glancing on her skin, and that's why it gives the sense of imagery which could be in the morning, during the morning. But you don't care which direction or where it is coming from. Here, you can see here, I can see tones that he uses, light tones, and goes all the way to the darker tones, back to her ears, and then it gets darker. Look, he even changes the tones here to a darker blue, and then it becomes a lighter blue here. You can probably not see it. And then look at her clothes. The clothes will go to a darker to a lighter. So he uses dashes of light as reflections of the light coming to her and hitting her. But it's by no means the explanation of all these explanations. The sun reflect, this is the reflected light. There's so many reflected lights going on. It's just beyond words. You cannot explain. You cannot just say, now you've appreciated tones and values. I can tell you a tone of a black and white. I can give you tones of this, for example. There, I can see tones. Can you? Dark, light, green, light. I don't care where the sun's falling. Dark, light, green, green, very greenish, very light green, right? And then look at that dirty color that he used of the reflections. He deliberately made the illusion this was different, but he's put a completely different color. But in reality, we know this would be somewhat green. I don't think he's intended the water to be murky by any means, because he's got blue even there. So he's added his realism into this world. So that's what we've got like another 10 minutes, so we can go ahead and reduce the brush size. All right, let's reduce the brush size to half. So rule of thumb is go to half of what you are, and then Now we're going to use a little bit of a brush strokes. Okay, I'm going to actually take it down even further. So I'm going to ask you to do a little bit of brush strokes here. Follow the shrubbery. Pick the color picker, which is doing all the work for us. Some of the I'm almost hearing voices from the academia who are going shock and horror with what I'm trying to teach. Well, I have to tell you that you have no idea what I'm doing or how I'm drawing. Try and explain how my drawing, before you go and start pointing fingers, please go and look at my painting and say why my painting does not look digital. Give me an honest, proper answer, right? And then I will start listening to you, because you cannot. You have an idea that digital has to be done in a particular way compared to traditional. You're the people who have actually kept digital in a confined state of limbo, and you haven't gone and researched enough to find out how digital can be made with the hand. And that's where the curators, they are shocked. They even make stupid remarks like digital has no heart and soul. If you don't believe me, just read some of my questions responses, and you'll see. Honestly, these are art curators who thinks digital is a sham. And then the academic world does not speak out because they have no idea what the real properties of digital is. And then they go on talking about supporting their color theory and all that nonsense. Got no relevance to art, real art, that is. And you see, the smaller brush allows me to get, so these tones, see how I'm sort of picking out these tones? You know what I'm going to do with this. Pick that color tone, get this dark tone over here, right? And then pick another tone and get tone, because you know these tones change in subtle ways. They saw the power of digital like the way I do it, they'll be sort of jumping up with joy, but they don't, because they're not there yet. They don't think beyond what they already know, trivial, almost trivial. Like, old primitive thinking, haven't moved into the real world of art, and then therefore they're not able to voice their opinions because they don't experiment. I experiment a lot. Trust me, apart from painting and drawing, I've got skills that are way beyond your understanding, way beyond what you would probably care to know, yeah? So, I don't have to have an ego in painting, but people do. This is what I found in art, is that when they get someone, they just boost their bloody ego in art. And it becomes like an ego trip rather than an actual reality. People I think People like Monet followed their heart despite their overwhelming success. But people like Picasso understood that when the eyeballs were on him, he just took it in his stride and made a fortune. So I will continue to have bad opinions of the art world that is run by people in power, and they think they know what they're talking about. Especially the art curators were shocked the other day when this art curator said it had no soul, heart and soul. And I told her, have a look at my painting. I asked her politely, have a look at my paintings. And then she deleted my comment. And she even continued to badger on. That's how art has no digital art has no soul. Where the planet does she come from? It's supposed to be an open-minded individual, prepared to change. This is the reason we make progress, is because we're prepared to listen and change. All right, we're doing quite well here in time. So I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to finish this really quickly because I've only got a small period of time here. I'm just going to do, if I haven't finished it, I will carry on to the next. You can see what I'm doing here as I'm talking, that I'm trying to pick out these tones. And this is a really excellent way to pick out these varying tones of this wonderful female, the woman. Right, so color picker, pick up these colors. Okay, don't worry about getting it exact. You see that one I did where I didn't quite pick the black color. So pick out these tones. Pretend this is a dress that you are drawing randomly, and you've got an idea of some of these colors that are appearing, and you're just laying down this stress, right? Just like I'm doing. Okay, here. So I'm going quite fast now because see, that's the color. So you may have missed the dark tones. See that? And then it's all lovely warm colors here on this side. Let's have a look. I think just got to do this. Let me see if we've managed to. Well, that's pretty good, isn't it? So before I go for our break, 10 minutes break, let's actually just tidy this up and do a face. But let's do a face with a smaller brush, yeah? So we can get this. Let's go right down half. Let's go to 2.5%, yeah? So let's pick these colors. Remember at the halfway point. And then let's get these colors. We can zoom in here even more, right? So you get a little close up. And then you can see how John Sargent, prolific painter, understood the nuances of paints. That's why he was so much admired by other artists in the field, because he was a practitioner. He's not being judged by people who collect art. He's a practitioner. He's appreciated by people in the art world. They're the ones who push great artists to the forefront. They used to, but nowadays it's all driven by collectors, people, art critics who think they're in the top of the world. They have no clue what digital art is. You know, if they saw me draw like this, where am I using tools? Half the time, 99% of that, you'd think that I'm drawing in traditional manner, and that's what I'm doing. You know, instead of painters going to their paint pot, then I go to my infinite paint pot here. Okay, there. Let's have a look to see what that looks like. Look at that. We haven't done the nose, so I'm just going to finish that. Right, picking the exact colors. Right, that's supposed to be there. We're not going to get exactly right. Right, and then let's do this bit there. That's not wonderful, isn't it? Just amazing. Let's have a look. There you are. Look, it looks reasonably close, but not quite there. But we're going to get there. See, even we got the shade of her dress dark here. You can see, and it's lighter there, blossoming with light. Then we get that beautiful river there. It's not there yet, but we're going to get there. So let's have our 6-7 minutes break, and then take a break, and then we'll come back 10 GMT. So please do follow me and subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you shortly in the other channel. The link is in the description, or you can go to here. This, where is it? Did I come here? Yeah, I think so, did I? Sorry. Or on the Paintology, yeah, this one. Yeah, this is where I did my stream drawing on this page, yeah, which is paintology.com, and then the link the button here so you can see. You always find the relevant information here. All right, so I'll see you in a bit, and thanks for watching. Bye for now. See you in the Produce channel.